relations between your deputies and the public?
We have the deputy. We encourage what's called a community-oriented policing system, which is more the old traditional law enforcement, where you encourage contact with the community. In law enforcement, you develop what's called a siege mentality, and that is it's us against them. You know, the only thing between you and anarchy is me. And the young officers is called the man who's heavy set. Boy, this is, you know, I got to tell you, etc. And it's hard to break that down, but we do that by interaction with the community. Also for those officers who are non-compliant, because getting back to kind of the corollary with what you said, every officer goes through the same training. They go through, you know, basic academy. They've got to pass the state standards test. We put them through what's called field training, which is an additional 12 to 12 weeks with the sheriff's office, where they ride with the seasoned officer, etc. And after all that education, understanding how you communicate with the public, I still produce one once in a while that goes out and says, "Hey, you, give me your license. You know, what the hell are you doing coming through this intersection? Was this officer not educated?" Yeah. So education wasn't the answer, was it? It was the character and personality of that particular individual, because he should have known to walk up and say, "Pardon me, ma'am, I'm stopping you for speeding. Okay, you may or may not know it. Also, west of that intersection, I'll need to see your license and registration for your insurance." Much more courteous approach. They're all trained to do that, but they don't all do that. We have, though, to track all of officer complaints. It's called IA Pro. We implemented that about 2 years ago, about 6 months into my administration. And it's a computer program where if you come in and lodge a complaint against an officer, number one, it's logged and numbered. Those all go to internal affairs for a review. Is it something that should be handled at the internal affairs level, or should it be handled at the shift level? But regardless of where that report goes, it's entered into the database that the officers had a complaint from this citizen who was not treated courteously on this traffic stop. So we'll go back and ask to pull a cruiser tape if there was one involved in that. We'll review the officer's shift data. Was he in fact at that intersection at that time? And then the citizen has alleged that you were not courteous. And so that's flagged the system. When they get a number of citizen complaints, we literally get a red flag on that officer, meaning that of the 15 people on your shift, we keep getting complaints on him. Now, what's the problem here? Nobody else is getting complaints, but he is, okay? And so then, as a management, it's a management tool, we say, okay, what's the answer here? Is it punitive? You know, do I give him a couple of days off to think about his, you know, transgressions? Or is it something that we need to do that's rehabilitative, that we need to cycle him back to community relations training, etc., and put him on notice that, you know, your numbers of citizen complaints are off the scale, and you're right on the verge of your foul to get you suspended. So that's a system called IA Pro, and so we use that for that, to kind of weed those officers out. And, you know, I say this with great sadness, that 3 months ago, within a month period, I fired 2 officers for falsified police reports. They falsified accident reports. And when the information came in, you know, my approach, when I took office, I told my folks there's one unforgivable sin, and that's when you lie. If you lie, you're done in law enforcement. Because what you've done is you've indicated to me that you have a proclivity for not telling the truth, which we call perjury, you know, within the criminal justice system. And so if we can't trust you, society can't trust you to tell the truth on the facts of the cases you see them, then you're of no use to law enforcement, because our entire society, and most assuredly our system of justice, is built upon our ability to tell the truth. I mean, I want you to think about that. You know, if we're all about lying, whether it's business or government, you know, what kind of society is that? But you know, sadly, one of the things that probably hurt me the most, and I can't recall when it happened last year. Do y'all remember the Senate passed what was called the Stolen Valor Law? Everybody remember that? Where you couldn't just go to a military, what we call that, not souvenir store, but you know, the secondhand stores that sell military memorabilia. You couldn't just waltz in there and buy yourself a Medal of Honor and hang it around your neck. Okay? Why? Because you didn't earn a Medal of Honor. Okay? And that shows such dishonor and disrespect to the men and women that have earned that honor, okay, through most of the time sacrificing their lives. So they passed it. It was called the Stolen Valor Law. Well, that was struck down out in California, the Ninth Circuit recently. And basically the ruling was, well, that was a harmless lie. Who did it hurt? I mean, he didn't use it for, you know, for any personal benefit. Really, he didn't get a job based on that. And hey, it's just a medal. Okay? Yeah. So really, who did it hurt? Who would do that? That is part of that. You know, Senator Moynihan, who senator from New York spoke very eloquently about defining deviancy down in our society, where we are accepting more and more aberrant behavior as the norm in how we just deal with each other. And so when lying becomes an accepted practice in society, we're in real trouble. Well, I can't fix the problems in the world, but I can darn sure fix them at the Escambia County Sheriff's Office. And when I identify officers or personnel who don't tell the truth, they're not belong to this agency because I'm going to tolerate it. You know, you've got to trust somebody and let it begin with me.
I'd just like to say that's just a great example of maybe your ethics and what you brought to the department. You came and talked to us a couple of years ago, and you brought that part of business to I guess really what had been the political kind of position in most minds.
Yeah, let me tell you about the promotions. We do a blind promotion system. When I entered office, if you were a young man or woman that sat for the sergeant's exam, you have to have 5 years in the sheriff's office. You sit for the sergeant's exam. And they made the sergeant's exam pass or fail. They had a cutoff score, let's say it was 75. And so 50 people passed the test. Well, there was no ranking of 1 through whatever. It's just 50 people passed the test. They made above 75. And this was the pool of people now that were eligible to make sergeant. And who made that determination? I did, Sheriff. I did. Okay? I could pick anybody from that 50 people. You passed the test. I could pick anybody. So I'd go to you and say, well, you know, according to my campaign reports here, you wrote me a check for $500, and you and your family walked neighborhoods, and you put out signs, and you campaigned for me. Congratulations, you just made sergeant. That's how it was done.
That's how it works.
That's how it was done, okay? And so, you know, this young lady here who says, now, wait a minute, Sheriff, you know, I had good performance evaluations. I studied hard. I scored the highest on the test, by the way, out of that 50 people. I was the #1 score on this test. I did well on the oral interview and the essay. How come I didn't get selected? Well, I'm sorry. You didn't write the check, okay? And that's how it was done. Now, if you don't think that'll destroy morale in an organization, I mean, that's devastating for people to say, well, how do I get promoted in this outfit? It's not based upon professionalism or merit. It's based upon politics. It's based upon, you know, who chases the candidate. If my guy wins, you know, that's a feudal system, by the way. You know, we're going to overthrow the king. I'm going to back this duke. And if this duke wins, my lands get increased. You know, I get new titles and whatever. That's the old feudal system. So when I came into office, I implemented what I call the blind promotion system. And it's the same system that colleges and universities use to select scholarship applicants. In case you've ever, if you've never applied for one, you don't know. If you apply for a scholarship, when your sheet goes before the scholarship board, okay, they whited out your name, your date of birth, your race, okay, all those things are whited out. And they get a sheet here that says, this person, you know, graduated from high school with a 4.0 grade point average, okay. They participated in the following school activities, okay, student government, whatever it may be. That's all they see. They don't know if you're male, female, white, black, young, old, whatever, okay. And they select you for a scholarship based upon that merit and that merit alone. Not who you are, okay, not what your race is, okay, but that. So I told the folks at the Escambia County Sheriff's Office, and we sat with the PDA, that's my promotion system right there. Okay. I get a list that's numbered. So when you go in now to sit for the sergeant's exam, they take your thumbprint and index print, and you're given a PIN number. And you come in and they take your print, you get a PIN number, you take the test, and you go. And I don't know if you're male, female, black, white, young, old, whatever. And now I get a list of folks from 001 through whatever, and the cutoff score is down here. And in agreement with the PDA, if you're #1 on the list, you get promoted. You get promoted. Now, you're on probation, that's part of the political agreement. If you're a sergeant, you're on probation for a year, for a lieutenant, for 6 months. But you're going to get your shot to do a good job, based upon your merit and your merit alone. And so I can tell you, that's just done wonders at the Escambia County Sheriff's Office. Many people have come to me and said, I never thought I'd get promoted until you got elected. I said, I want to thank you for that. Because they were apolitical. They never got involved in the political process. And if you didn't do that, you didn't get promoted. Now, again, that's, you know, those are the things that, because I was a poor kid from southeast Missouri who knew that the military was my avenue to get my education and do so many things, that was based upon what? My merit. My individual wants and desires to do good and acquire those things. That's what it was based upon. But I've got somebody right now in North Carolina County who wants to campaign against me. He's telling everybody I didn't promote his son, okay, to lieutenant, okay, so that's why he's going to campaign against me. Well, I didn't promise anybody promotions, and I defy anybody to find somebody who will tell you that I did, because that's not me. I don't do that. For those of you who went through officer training, and this is a very high code, and a lot of people say, well, that's nice words, Dave, but nobody does it. Not true. I can tell you, in the officer corps in the United States Air Force, over 90% of the officers adhere to this code. And when you go through officer training, the code that you take is, I will not lie, cheat, or steal, nor tolerate those in our ranks that do. That's the code that you take. I will not lie, cheat, or steal, nor tolerate anyone in our ranks that do. Pretty high standard, huh? Pretty high standard. That's why the military works as well as it does, because while many will fail to meet that standard, that is the standard that you are expected to adhere to. And we need to start establishing that standard in our elected officers.
Interesting.
Well,
Very
we're going to clear
interesting.
house pretty quick. We get rid of order. Folks, thank you so much for your